Three teams are surging and three teams are sliding. Let's dive right in. First, we're going to look at three teams that are under the radar that are making a little bit of a move in the standings. First, we've got the Washington Nationals with some capital gains. Yes, they've won 5 straight, including a 10-4 win over the Orioles. Okay, I get it. Winning over the Orioles isn't that big of a deal, but still, 5 home runs in that game. They had their first sweep of any team since July 2024, and they also had their first road sweep since April of 2024. CJ Abrams had 2 home runs and a double on May 18th. He's now hitting .312 on the season with a .942 OPS. The team has 50 home runs after 48 games, and that maybe doesn't seem so crazy to you, but you have to remember this team ranked 29th in home runs last season, so that's good. If there's a little bit of a warning sign, rookie Dylan Cruz was placed on the injury list on May 20th, so keep an eye out for that. The second team that's under the radar but surging a little bit right now is the Los Angeles Angels with the Halo Heat coming to you. They are currently on a 7-game winning streak, including a 4-game sweep of the A's. Again, not quite impressive, but specifically, Taylor Ward has 14 home runs after hitting another grand slam. What is that, like 3 on the season for him so far? He is just absolutely emerging as a premier power hitter with that. Logan O'Hoppe, if I'm saying that right, he has 4 home runs during this winning streak, and this lineup is mashing, and there's not even a trout to be seen in this river. They hit .307 in the series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, if there are some warning signs, it is definitely they have a little bit of a rotation depth problem. However, with the trade deadline coming up, that might be something that's fixable. The Angels need to figure out how to just stay in this race, though, as other teams like the Astros and the Mariners continue to heat up as well. All right, our last team number 3, the Toronto Blue Jays with a northern surge. Yes, they just got over the 500 mark at 25-24. That's not anything spectacular for a team that a lot of people expected to be right in the AL East playoff race. However, they did sweep the Padres. Again, that kind of doesn't seem like such a big deal, but including a 7-6 extra inning win on May 22nd here, and Vlad Guerrero Jr., his on-base streak is at 20 games. He had a home run on May 21st as well. Pitching allowed only 3 runs total versus the Padres. What's the warning sign, though? Bullpen fatigue showing from constant high leverage use. All right, before we move on to the 3 teams that are sliding down the standings, please hit that like, hit that subscribe to keep these breakdowns going. And if you do like this and you want to support this channel financially, you can do so through our Patreon. Again, just appreciate so much to Buy4 and to Darren, the first 2 patrons that we have on this channel, and you can get your name shouted out and get early access to videos like that by signing up to the Patreon down in the links below. All right, 3 teams that are sliding, and some of these teams are going to be teams we talked about from the other side. One is the San Diego Padres. They are having a complete Padre plunge down the standings. They are on a 6-game losing streak, including a 14-0 loss to those Blue Jays that we talked about here. They went 0 for 24. Yes, 0 for 24 with runners in scoring position. So if you think you had it bad, Mets fans, it's not as bad as that. In the sweep that they had by the Mariners over the weekend, their pitching gave up 29 runs over the last 5 games. If there's a bright spot, well, we're going to give that to Gavin Sheets. He had 2 home runs and 5 RBIs here today. But this team is definitely showing some major warning signs. And this is a division with the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and of course the Dodgers, where you can't afford to go on massive losing streaks and expect to stay high in the standings. All right, the number 2 team that is absolutely slumping is the Milwaukee Brewers. Yes, the Brew Crew has the blues right now. They are 24-26. And I was just thinking, like, man, when's the last time I can remember looking at the NL Central standings and seeing the Brewers being in 4th place? But that's exactly where they are. They have a -7 run differential for the season and a 9-16 road record. They just cannot win away from home. They were shut out 4 times in a 5-game span from May 15th through the 18th, and their rotation has been struggling. highlighted by Tobias Myers giving up 11 hits in 3 2/3 innings against the Twins recently. If there's a bright spot on the team, we're going to give it to Christian Yelich right now. He has 8 home runs, including a 3-run shot earlier today. All right, and the last team that's sliding, and listen, to be fair, they've been sliding for a while, but we have to highlight this here because this has been a slide of epic proportions. This was the team I picked to go to the World Series. Now, that shows you why you should not follow my picks. But beyond that, I cannot remember a team that I was so excited about slumping so horribly, and that's the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles ordeal is crazy, and here's the thing. They've already made the change that you would expect that maybe could put a fire under the players, which is firing the manager. They are 16-32 on the season. They fired Brandon Hyde, but that was already almost a week ago, and barely anything has changed. Their new interim manager, Tony Mansolino, if that's how you say it, he's just 1 win, 4 losses in his start, and took them multiple days to even get a win for their new manager. Their pitching is by far the reason that they're falling utterly apart. They have a 5.12 team ERA, the worst in the American League. They've allowed 67 home runs, which again, also not just worst in the American League, that's worst in baseball, most home runs allowed. If we're going to highlight one bright spot for this team, it has to be Gunnar Henderson. He does have 7 home runs and a 762 OPS, and he leads the team in WAR. But even those numbers aren't the level that you would expect to see from there. Is this team going to be able to salvage the season and even be able to make a push for the playoffs? I'm telling you what, they're running out of time quickly. So which teams of these do you think are going to bounce back? Which teams are going to fall? And what other teams should we be keeping our eye on from this point forward?